What's good, YouTube? It's your girl April, and welcome back to my channel, Conversations with Soft Rain. Tonight, we're going to get into this code language conversation with classic codes. This one right here, it's tough. It's on losing friends. That topic always hits different, of course, and I know classic is about to step on some toes, so we're going to listen to it and unpack it together. So we're just going to roll right into it.
Then we got the code language conversation. So let's move into the code language chat. We moving right along today. The code language is called losing friends.
Mm.
Sheesh. We talking about losing friends in the code language conversation today. So I think losing friends is a being someone who has been around long enough to have a reasonable amount of experiences. Looking at it now objectively, losing friends is a natural progression in life.
Mm.
It's not often that you will run into somebody from small, like a very young age, 3, 4, 5, that's not blood relative, and you just stay super duper tight all the way throughout life. Normally at some point.
I can agree with that. It's natural, but nobody really tells you how heavy that can feel when it's somebody you thought that will always be there. Like, yeah, they people move, we grow, we change, but like when that shift first happens, it can feel like I would say like rejection instead of like redirection. So I think women tend to hold on to those emotions and those feelings a little bit more than men do. So yeah, um, instead of keeping the friendship rolling, it's more of like now this is here. You got to move on. It's not the same anymore. So some people can look at that like rejection of the friendship instead of like we just redirecting really. So we just gonna move, keep rolling.
Relationships change, distance, time, somebody moves, somebody go to different colleges,
See,
people untimely passings, all types of things happen. So I think losing friends is like a natural part of life. It's a natural progression in
mm,
life for so many different reasons. Like I just listed a few. But I think for some people, they take losing friends really, really hard. I've heard a lot of folks speak about losing friends from the perspective of like something being wrong with it in regards to, maybe they had the expectation like, oh, friends forever and this, that, and the third. I never.
yeah, he's right. We grew up on that friends forever mindset, right? And especially women, like I said before, especially women, we get attached to shared history. But sometimes we mistake that longevity for loyalty, right? So just because you've known somebody for a long time doesn't mean they're still aligned with your growth. So I feel as though that we can outgrow one another. We can be on different trajectories. We can be on different paths, and some people are meant to be in our life for a lifetime, and sometimes just for a season. So we're gonna keep rolling with it.
Never really look at it like that. With relationships, I learned through experience. And in the code languages, y'all know I get more personal, but I've learned through experience early in adulthood, late in teen years, but early in adulthood, I learned through experience what people are capable of.
Mm,
Off rip, like I learned the hard way, just what people are capable of, like the lies people could tell, how sneaky people could
oof.
be, how vindictive people could be, how vengeful people could be, how envious people could be, how jealous people could be. I learned from experience super, like before graduating college, like 21, 20, 19, 22, all them little early adulthood years. I learned all of that, exactly what people were capable of. So that's when my perspective on relationships as a whole just changed. Yeah, I don't look at them like they have to be permanent. I look at them like they can be permanent, but they don't have to be at all. It's
Hmm. Yeah, that part. mm, When you start seeing people's true capacity for, let's say, envy, deceit, manipulation, it changes your whole perspective on the friendship. It doesn't always come from hate. Sometimes it's just broken people projecting on you. You know, um, Sometimes it's people funneling their negative energy into you. Um, if and we talk about trajectory again, that might be his next code language, if he hasn't done it already. But and I think he may have. We'll have to check that out, classic. But it's when you when you're on the come up, your friend's path is not going to be the same as yours. Um, or when you're trying to progress and move forward, your path might be a little more traveled than your friend's path. So your path might be just a tad bit easier than your friend's path. And it's just, I think, as grown-ups, it's up to us to um decide internally if we've really outgrown this person or not. So I don't know. Let's move forward. We'll keep on going.
so oftentimes you have people that feel like, oh, well, you don't fight for this, or if I'm not fighting nothing.
Mm,
If it's simple for me, I got principles, I got morals, I got codes. So when it comes to like this topic, losing friends, right? If if I have a friend, for example, whose perspective or perception of me changes, and I don't like how they look at me, we ain't friends no more. Why would I want you around me and I don't like how you see me as a person? We're in complete disagreement with how you see me as a person, and I don't like the way that you got me fucked up. Like I despise how you see me as a person. We not friends no more. Y'all think fighting for it is what? Like sitting down and talking about, well, why do you see me this way? And then you become your own defense attorney and explain to them you're not like that, and they have you, mixed up, and it's more so of this and not that, and now you're trying to convince this person to believe you aren't somebody that they think you are. Man, fuck all that.
mm.
We have grown apart effectively. You know what I'm saying? We have effectively grown apart. Shit over with. We had a good run. This shit done. You know? That's one thing.
That's one way to see it, and I get it. Self-respect, it matters. But let me add this right here. Sometimes perception changes because of misunderstandings and not malice. It's okay to seek clarity one time, and after that, if the energy still feels off, then you just gotta let it go. There's no back and forth on what our friendship is. If we come to each other like, hey, what's really going on? And if it's not solved, then might as well move on.
Thing I never had issues with is like letting people go. I told y'all, with my experiences, I learned early what people were capable of. And not just through my own experiences, things I've seen. Things I've seen. I've been the person on the phone listening to a female talk crazy about her bestie, and then get around her bestie and just love on bestie. Like I've been that person. Like I've seen that a trillion times from elementary school to adulthood. That's normal female behavior. When you see men exhibit that behavior, we call it female behavior. You know what I'm saying? That's normal protocol for females. Talk shit about each other and then play cute with each other. So like I learned early, like the nature.
I will say this. Um, if I can't, anything that I've said about you not in your presence, I can say about you in your presence. And that's honestly, to me, that's being a real friend. If I can't say how I feel about you to your face, how I actually feel about you to your face, then something's wrong. You know, if I am confiding in somebody about our friendship, whatever I confide in that person about our friendship, I should be able to tell you directly to your face. Smooth butter, you know, it's there should be no hesitation with that. You know, a lot of people, they hold back their feelings or hold back how they really feel, and you shouldn't do that. When it comes to being a friend, your friend should know exactly how you feel about what you got, what y'all got going on. That shouldn't be kept, you know. I call that fake love. And you know, the fake love epidemic that's running around, it's real. You got smiling faces that drain your spirit the minute you turn your back. But when you have discernment, you can love people without letting them sit at your table. You can love them from a distance. They don't have to be at your table indulging in you. They don't have to be there. You can love them from far away. You stay over there, I stay over here. I love you the same. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know. So
The evil nature of both women and the evil nature of dudes. I've lost male friends, I've lost female friends. That shit happens. Everybody not solid. And everybody don't have the same morals and everybody don't have the same principles. That's why when people take losing friends hard, or when they don't understand why they lost friends, if you objectively are able to look back at whatever said relationship it was, you can see where the crossroads were, where
mm,
the intersections were, where you guys weren't running parallel but perpendicular instead. You can see it. And if you take your emotions out of it for a second, shit, you will realize it makes sense. Like me personally, I ain't lost nothing that should have stayed. Nothing.
boom, right there. If it left, it wasn't meant to carry where you're going, right? I ain't never lost nothing that should have stayed. Sometimes when you lose something, it hurts. It feels like a loss. But then later on, I feel as though it starts to feel like alignment. So if that person isn't meant to be in your life, and you get through that initial hurt of y'all not being in that same capacity as you was, later on it'll start to align. Later on, everything else will come into alignment, and you will be able to look forward and move forward with your life, with or without them in this case. So
Nothing. I know there's some people that I'm not friends with. Like when I say friends, it don't mean we enemies, but we're not friends. That probably miss certain qualities that I brought to the table in their lives, but shit, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, on the other hand, I'm straight. Like I say, I think I was fortunate by going through like some rough years that forced me to look inward and spend some time in the dungeon. I like to call it the dungeon. Like spend some alone time,
mm,
spend some time with self in the quietness, in the dark, going through it and really like sorting some shit out, and coming to some real harsh realizations about real life versus the shit people say, and the shit that's cool to say, or the shit that is cool to make shit look like. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's that isolation season. You know, when God sits you down to quiet the noise so you can hear your own truth. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but that solitude, I feel as though it teaches you how to survive without, what do they call it? External validation. There it is. You know, you don't have to have somebody validating you all the time. You're You're sitting down with self and you're evaluating yourself and not have to worry about the outside, not taking any outside noises in to work through whatever it is that you're going through, you know.
I'm saying, like, getting away from the cliches, get pretty much that time to realize sheep see the shit the way I've been looking at it. Sheep are the ones that see the shit the way I've been looking at it. I had time to realize that. And I woke the fuck up. And then when I decided to start operating inside of reality, that's when my perspective on relationships really changed. Like, somebody could really wake, it don't matter who it is. It could be your parent, it could be your a sibling, it could be your childhood homie, it could be anybody. It could be your girl, it could be your, you know, it could be your wife, it could be your husband. They could wake up tomorrow and just decide, you know what, I don't, you know, I'm just really feeling like pushing the button on not fucking with you no more. And that shit gonna be that. Like, people could do that.
It's wild, but it, you know, it's true. One day you're their favorite person, and the next day you're a villain in their story, right? And that emotional detachment, it's not coldness, but it's like acceptance. You know, it's power when you can finally detach from that and move forward. You know, so
So, you know, putting too much stock in thinking shit gonna be forever and all that, that's crazy. You know, I don't sit around waiting for stuff to end. And I also don't, you know, sit around thinking about 20 years from now when it comes to like relationships. I'll plan 2 years with you, 3. You start talking about 10, yeah, we'll see. Because I know how fickle people can be. Maybe I come off as fickle to somebody. That's cool. Just get from around me. If you think ill of me, we shouldn't be around each other. That's if you don't like me, there's nobody on this planet that doesn't like me, but I like them. If you don't like me, I don't like you. It's that simple. We don't like each other.
I see, you know, right there. I have to tweak that just a little bit. You know, I don't have to mirror somebody's dislike, but I'll match their distance. How about that? You know, peace, it doesn't require pettiness. It requires boundaries, right? So yeah, I wouldn't match their dislike, but we're gonna keep the distance at distance. We gonna That's what we're gonna do.
There's nobody who looks at me sideways, but I'm yearning to get it straight with them. Fuck you. Respectfully. Or disrespectfully, depending on who we talking about.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm the person that's done talking about it quick because I see what it is. Once it gets to a point where you got to start convincing people or shit, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. We're not going through that. We're not going through that. But yeah, man, losing friends. I think that people should change their perspective on it because sometimes people that stop being friends, the shit goes too far left, and then you got fatalities, you got injuries, you got, you know, mess, all type of stuff start happening. I think that if people just look at it for what it is, start trusting people to be people.
Mm, that right there, that kind of like sums it up. Stop expecting loyalty, you know, from people who haven't even mastered honesty with you or honesty with themselves. Everyone plays their role in your story. Um, you just got to learn when their scene ends, right? Losing friends isn't always a loss. Sometimes it's graduation. Graduation. You have to graduate and you move forward. You sometimes keeping that same friend feels like a almost like life being on a hamster wheel or something, you know? Especially if you don't have that support you need from them, you know. And you shouldn't have to argue your worth, you know. Sometimes I used to over explain myself, but maturity, it teaches you how to just exit quietly. So before I end, in true soft rain fashion, I have my handy dandy prayers and promises for busy moms, and it does have friendship in here, y'all. I'm excited about it. I looked, I said, "Oh, let me see if friendship is in here." And I know it's not. This is not about losing friends, but there's, as always, if you're just now coming across me, if you go to Conversation with Soft Rain, the channel, and you'll see that some of my I end some of my videos with the prayer and the promise. And in this book, on one side, it has like scriptures to reference a certain topic, and then it has a prayer to go along with that topic. So that's what we're gonna do today. It has 4, and all this has to do with friendship. The first one comes from Proverbs 17, verses 17. So 17 and 17. A friend loves you all the time, and a brother helps in times of trouble. Proverbs 18:24 is the next one. There are friends, and that's in quotations, friends, who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. The next one comes from John 15, verses 13 through 15. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. And the last one comes from Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. In everything, do to others what you would want them to do to you. And the prayer that goes along with that, it says, God, you are such a faithful friend. No one could care more about me than you do. I know you designed us for relationships, and I long to be around people, especially people who love you. Lead me into relationships that encourage me to be more like you. Please continue to enrich my life with good friends. I pray for good friends for my children as well. Help them to find friends who love you and who encourage them to do what is good and right. So, drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever outgrown someone you thought would be permanent? How did you handle that? Let's talk about it. And as always, adjust your crown, queen, rest your heart. You are loved, you are held, and your reign is soft with me. See y'all next time. Queens, don't forget to like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, and share this with someone who needs it. And remember, her voice, her truth, her throne.